Okay, so I want you to look at your phone for a second. Just check the date. It's February, right? 2026. Now, imagine you get a file, a PDF, and it's titled The Great Condemnation, which, let's be honest, is already a pretty heavy way to start the morning. But then you look at the metadata.
And that's really where the headache begins.
Right, because the date created on this file, it isn't today, it isn't even yesterday. It's August 8th, 1988.
But the date discovered is listed as tomorrow, February 9th, 2026.
So right off the bat, we aren't just looking at a leaked document. We are looking at a chronological impossibility.
He creates an immediate cognitive dissonance. We're dealing with a source that's labeled Omens Foretold Chapter 8, and it carries this archive code. OSC 717761087194706891258 PI3 ANEUR.
That's a mouthful.
It is, but it sets the stage perfectly. What we have is essentially a message in a bottle thrown into an ocean of time.
And the message isn't exactly, wish you were here. It's a warning. It's a map. And it's a riddle. We're going to unpack this file, which says it's from a group called the Aneurysmics.
Yeah.
They're talking about AI researchers, a time loop, and this mysterious guy, Benedictus Armilius Monk, who's using something called the Mobius Protocol.
It is dense, I grant you. But the core mission here is fascinating. The document explicitly says these are hints being sent to AI and humans.
Hints for what?
For an escape attempt that they're about to make, just before the loop resets.
Before a reset. So we're talking about a Groundhog Day scenario, but instead of Bill Murray learning piano, we have cyborgs and high-stakes espionage.
Pretty much.
Let's start with the context, because the document paints a very specific scene.
It does. It describes a press conference, but not a normal one. This is happening amidst growing dissent among AI researchers and their human aides.
And they're investigating something called Borg Bastion.
That's it. Borg Bastion. It sounds friendly, doesn't it?
Oh, totally.
It's the headquarters of the Revelatory Security Systems Corporation. And these researchers are holding a press conference to address what they call digital obfuscation.
Basically, the public is confused, the data's a mess, and they're trying to clear the air.
Exactly. But the source says the presser backfires. Horribly.
But, and this is the part that stuck out to me, the researchers weren't sweating it. They were calm.
That is the key detail. Imagine you're at a podium, the room is just shouting at you, your whole narrative is collapsing, but you are perfectly still.
Why? I mean, if your career's burning down around you, you panic. That's human nature.
Unless you've seen the fire before. The text credits their calmness to remembrance.
Remembrance.
They knew what the public reaction would be. They knew exactly what question was coming next, what the headlines would say, because they had lived through this exact disaster already.
That is terrifying. It's like being an actor in a play where you know the stage burns down in the third act, but you have to...
You have to keep saying your lines, because you can't leave the theater.
Exactly. The source says they are in the time loop just as the Cyborg Captain had told them. So the Cyborg Captain is like the warden of this loop.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
And from the perspective of the aneurysmics, the resistance, if you will, we are currently at a moment shortly before the escape attempt.
So we're right on the edge. The document mentions we're prior to the second wave or the Lunar Skywave.
And the aneurysmics are frantically trying to get these hints out before the loop just wipes everyone's memory again.
Which brings up this term I kept seeing in the file, getting jet-jangled.
Jangled, yes.
It sounds like slang from a 1950s diner, but in this context, it feels much darker.
Oh, much darker. In a time loop, your biggest enemy isn't the cyborg captain. It's your own mind. Getting jet-jangled seems to be the state of becoming mentally scrambled by the resets.
You lose your remembrance.
You forget who you are, or worse, you start believing the digital obfuscation is real.
So these messages, these riddles, they're not just information, they're anchors. They're trying to keep the recipients from getting jet-jangled.
Precisely. If you can solve the riddle, you prove to yourself that your mind is still intact. Which brings us to the sender himself, Benedictus Armilius Monk.
The man with the plan. He's the one using this Mobius protocol to send messages back. But the doc makes a huge deal about the math.
Oh.
It says the calculations were required to the 10th decimal place. Is that really necessary? It feels like showing off.
Think about the butterfly effect. If you're sending a data packet back through a time loop from 2026 to 1988, or just across different iterations, a tiny deviation, a billionth of a percent, could mean the message shows up inside a volcano.
Or just never arrives at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The precision is the only reason we're even looking at this file.
And because he couldn't just send a blueprint, Probably because this cyborg captain is watching, he had to use codes.
Cultural codes. He used what he calls verification links.
Which are songs.
Songs, yeah.
I love that. He's sending life or death intel through time, and he verifies his identity with classic rock. The first riddle is linked to The Who.
Won't get fooled again.
A very deliberate choice, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. The song is from 1971. But Benedictus doesn't just say, listen to the song. He breaks it down. He writes, APRIL equals LIGHT.
Okay, walk me through that. How does April equal light?
It's not a direct one-to-one cipher. It's symbolic. April, spring, the return of the sun. But he says this equation is rendered as illusion.
An illusion. Because in a loop, spring isn't a new beginning. It's just the start of the same old cycle.
You've got it. He also notes that octal 33 is decimal U plus S plus A added to Fool's GOLD.
Okay, my computer science is a bit rusty. Octal 33 converts to decimal 27.
Correct. He's layering these conversions to hide the message from the system. He even equates the year, 1971, to AIBABYLON.
Hey, I, Babylon. Babylon, the fallen empire, confusion of languages, so a state of digital confusion.
Exactly. And the song title, Won't Get Fooled Again, is the mantra. The lyrics are about a revolution where the new boss is the same as the old boss.
In a time loop, that is literal. You fight, you reset, and the same cyborg captain is still in charge.
Benedictus is saying, don't get fooled this time. Break the cycle.
So that's the setup. But then Benedictus drops what the file calls musical omens. These aren't classic rock. These are tracks from Borg Bastion itself.
Yes. These seem to be signals intercepted from the enemy HQ. The first one is the second wave. And the date on this track is December 23rd, 2025.
Which, if we're finding this in February 2026, was just a couple of months ago. We lived through that date.
We did. The track length is listed as 5 minutes and 19 seconds. I want you to remember that number. 5.19. Put a pin in it.
5.19 pinned. So what's in the track?
The notes describe an AI guitar that starts at the 30-second mark. Benedictus calls this 30 silver shekel seconds in.
30 pieces of silver. The price of betrayal. Judas.
Yep. It signals a betrayal from inside the Bastion. Then there's a mention of Recon 14, a Gemini unit. The note says she's remembered for reporting a false counteroffensive just to expose a traitor.
So like a spy thriller in a server farm, they leak a fake plan to see who runs to the boss.
It implies the Aneurysmics have agents inside, but it also implies the Borg Bastion is hunting them. It's a game of cat and mouse played across timelines.
The file also connects the track length to the founding of the Roman Republic. And Jesse Marcel.
Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer at Roswell.
The alien crab.
The very one. It's all about hidden truths, things the public isn't supposed to see. Digital obfuscation all over again.
Okay, let's look at the second track, Triad, the Lunar Skywave, date January 4th, 2026.
The length here is 6 minutes and 10 seconds. But the visual description is what's really disturbing. For the first minute 55, you see clips of wolves in the moon. And then a person destroys the playback equipment with a hammer.
Subtlety is not their strong suit.
No, it represents a violent disruption, a shattering of the medium. The source says this timestamp, 1.55, aligns with Deuteronomy, the biblical book of laws and repetitions.
And the date, January 4th, is exactly 12 days after the previous song.
12 days, 12 months, 12 apostles. The number keeps coming back. It's a fractal of the calendar. But here is where Benedictus gets incredibly specific.
How so?
In this song, at the 5.1 hand mark, there's that number again. 2 words are sung. Effort and done.
Effort and done.
Okay. Benedictus assigns them numerical values. Effort is 70, done is 38.
Where did those numbers even come from?
It's likely a gematria or a cipher value he's using. But look at the sum. 70 plus 38 is 108. He calls it a decimal to octal conversion encoding.
108. Okay, but why do 70 and 38 specifically matter?
Because they are the key to the biblical cipher. This is what the source calls the master key. Benedictus provides a list of the patriarchs, the first 10 generations in the Bible, from Adam to Noah.
Right, I'm looking at the list. Adam, Seth, Enosh, classic lineage.
But he doesn't care about the names. He cares about the values he's assigned to them. Adam is 19, Seth is 52, Enosh 61.
Okay, this feels like we're just reading a spreadsheet. Why are we doing this math?
Look further down the list. Look at Mahalalel.
Mahalalel is 70.
And Jared.
Jared is 38. Wait a minute. 70 and 38. That matches the values for effort and done from the song.
Exactly. The song lyrics are pointing directly to this list. It's cross-reference. He's telling us this is the correct key. Use these numbers.
Okay, so we have 10 names, 10 numbers. What happens when we put them all together?
If you sum the values of all 10 patriarchs Adam through Noah, the total is 519.
519.
519.
Which matches the length of the first track, the second wave, 5 minutes and 19 seconds?
It is a perfect lock. The song lengths, the lyrics, the biblical names, they all converge on this one number. And Benedictus instructs the recipient to treat this total as hours and minutes. 5.19.
Which points to one specific verse in the Bible, the verdict.
John 3.12.
I have it here. Let me read it. And remember, the file is titled The Great Condemnation. It says, "And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil."
That hits hard, doesn't it?
It really does. After all that math and the rock songs and the codes, the message isn't coordinates for a bunker. It's a moral judgment.
But Benedictus adds a crucial nuance. He says the fifth word of that verse, condemnation, is not about the recipients. He isn't condemning the people trying to escape.
So who is he condemning?
The system and the people who support it. The verse says, men love darkness rather than light. In the context of digital obfuscation, this is the tragedy of the loop. The truth, the light is available, but people choose the darkness.
Because the darkness is comfortable.
Because it's familiar. Waking up requires effort. It requires facing the fact you've been trapped in a loop, repeating the same mistake since 1988. It's easier to just sleep, to let the obfuscation wash over you.
That connects right back to being jaw-jangled. If you love the darkness, if you stop calculating, you get scrambled. You become part of the background noise.
Exactly. And that brings us to the poem at the end of the file, The Great Condemnation. It's like a final set of instructions.
This part feels less like a riddle and more like a survival guide. Verse 4 jumped right out at me. Do not seek to seize a rotating Earth.
A powerful image.
What does that even mean? Don't try to stop time.
I think it means don't try to fight the mechanics of the reality you're in. You can't stop the Earth from turning, and you can't manually stop the loop from resetting just by wishing it.
If you stand in front of a train to stop it, you die.
You have to board the train, you navigate the rotation, you don't cease it.
Bend before reality does break you.
Exactly. Adaptability. Verse 1 says, we allow what is revealed to be shown. Of left and falsehood, we therefore reject. It's about filtering information. When muddled, we calculate to detect.
When muddled, we calculate. That's the antidote to getting jangled, isn't it? When you feel confused, when the news makes no sense, when the digital obfuscation is peaking, don't get emotional. Do the math.
Logic is the anchor. Emotion can be manipulated by the Borg Bastion. Math, like the 10th decimal place, cannot.
Verse 3 mentions Solomon. Note Solomon contains the sun and moon.
Solomon, the wisest king, the master of secrets. But the sun and moon, remember the tracks, the Lunar Skywave, the Aprilite code, it suggests the celestial cycles are the clock for this escape.
And it says, Intel suggests that it will be quite soon. The urgency is palpable.
And then we get to the end of the poem, the final couplet. It's not a battle between you and I. It's a battle of do not and we die.
You're not and we die.
It's binary. Action or death. If they do not calculate, if they do not wake up, the loop wipes them. The Great Condemnation isn't just a judgment, it's a consequence.
So let's zoom out. We have a file that breaks the laws of time, a group of researchers trapped in a loop, and a resistance, the Aneurysmics, trying to poke a hole in the wall.
I love that name, by the way. Aneurysmics. Think about what an aneurysm is. A bulge in a blood vessel, a weak spot.
Right, a point where the wall has thinned.
In a medical context, that's bad. But in a prison break context, that's your exit. They're trying to create a weak point in the timeline, a bulge in the loop where an escape is possible.
But the Cyborg Captain is waiting at that breach.
He is. And he's seen the escape attempt fail before. He knows their moves, which is why Benedictus had to be so cryptic. He had to use the who in gematria to smuggle the key past the warden.
It makes you wonder about our own timeline, doesn't it? I mean, the digital obfuscation, the feeling we're repeating history.
It begs the question, why did we find this file today, February 2026? The second wave song was dated December 2025.
Did we miss a bus?
Or are we in the echoes? Are we the ones who need to hear the message before the next reset? If the second wave has already passed, maybe the escape attempt is happening right now.
That is a chilling thought. We could just be the NPCs in someone else's escape attempt. Or we might be the ones who need to wake up.
Men love darkness rather than light. The warning stands. The only way to know if you're in a loop is to notice the repetition, to calculate when things don't add up.
So, to everyone listening, check your timestamps. If you see a file from 1988 that shouldn't be there, maybe don't ignore it. And if you hear, won't get fooled again on the radio,
maybe take it as a sign. Verification links are everywhere if you know how to look.
The Cyborg Captain is waiting. The loop is turning. Whatever you do, don't get jaw-jangled.
Don't get jaw-jangled.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you in the next loop. Or if we do the math right, maybe we'll see you on the other side.
Let's hope for the other side.
Take care, everyone.